Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, DEI Coordinator for the City of Appleton.
And I'm Andy Anam, the Communications Manager for the city.
And Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together.
In today's episode of Appleton Engage, we have a guest whose leadership is reshaping the landscape of community wellness and engagement. So I'm excited.
I am very excited. What I really love about this particular resource and this guest is it's the resource that I think everybody knows. It's like so relatable, and I do think it's a resource that like really has the opportunity to have an impact in all of our lives in some type of way. So, it is that makes this conversation even more exciting. But without going any further, let me just say this week's guest is Bret Salscheider, CEO of the YMCA of the Fox Cities. Hey, Bret, how's it going?
Great, Timber. Hi, Andy. Good to see you both. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for being here and giving us some time and getting ready to tell us about the amazing resource that is the Y of the Fox Cities. But before we get started, Bret, can you please tell us about yourself and your association with Appleton and the Fox Cities region?
Well, absolutely. First, I guess my biggest affiliation with Appleton is really stemmed through the Y. I mean, my wife and I are originally from the Green Bay area. However, we've had family that have lived in the Appleton area. And with my work in Green Bay, there was always this longing, if I ever had the opportunity to work for the Y and the Fox Cities in the Appleton area, it would just be a dream come true. And certainly, I'm getting to live out my dream. But I've also lived here for a short time. Even though I worked in Green Bay, I lived in here for about a year while I was commuting back and forth. So I got to witness the beauty and the awesomeness of this community, the welcoming of this community and the people and the activities. And so it's just a blessing to be here. But my biggest connection has always been through the YMCA. And so for me, I've been with the Y movement for now just over 28 years. About 13 and a half of those were with the Green Bay Y and two different stints. I've worked for the YMCA Metropolitan Milwaukee for 3.5 years. And just prior to coming to the Fox Cities, I was 10 years in central Wisconsin with the Southwood County YMCA, which is in Wisconsin Rapids. So it's been about 15 months here in Appleton. And I must tell you, it's been everything my wife and I have hoped it to be. I mean, of course, as the community is so welcoming. This YMCA is so blessed with the support that it receives from the community, and we're fortunate to be able to serve the great people in this region. So it's just been a wonderful transition.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you please share more with us about the Y?
Sure. Probably an interesting statistic is that you think about the number of people that the YMCA serves, we have about 50,000 that just are through membership alone, and then another 11,000 participate with us through all of our various programs. And so roughly that 1 out of 4 individuals throughout the greater Fox Valley has some sort of connection with us and our organization in one way, shape, or form. And so I would suspect that a lot of our listeners or your listeners have some sort of affiliation with us in one way, shape, or form with it. But the YMCA, the Fox Cities, we have 6 facilities that are scattered throughout the region, from Appleton, Neenah-Menasha, Kimberly, Ogden, Fox West and Greenville, and Heart of Valley over in Kimberly. And in addition to that, 3 out of our 6 branches have full-day child care centers. And we have a separate standalone child care center over by Thrivent there. And then we have 2 camps. We have a camp up in Lakewood, Camp Nanabosho, and we have a 5-acre camp over in Shiocton, so Camp Shioc. And then we're in 38 before and after school age sites.
Wow.
So we're impacting just in child care probably close to 1,500 children each and every day just from that specific program. And then our main offices are located and housed out of our Appleton location. So we're just a block away.
That's true. You're close.
But our organization was really founded 136 years ago with the formation of the Appleton YMCA. And quite honestly, we see ourselves as the community's leading nonprofit organization that's really committed to our vision of strengthening community through our 3 areas of focus: youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. So everything that we do, all our programs and services filter underneath or fall underneath those 3 primary areas. And if we do that effectively, we believe that we're helping to strengthen the community as a whole. Our mission as an organization is to put Christian principles into action by promoting youth, adult, and family activities that build a healthy spirit and mind and body for all. And we bring that to life each and every day through our organizational core values of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. What's really exciting is that we just completed our strategic plan, and we engaged our community through various sources and mediums. And what we heard from them is what they see as the desired impact for us. What we landed on is that they need us to be that committed partner in fostering thriving communities with an aim to elevate quality of life, empower youth, and improve the overall health and well-being of individuals at all stages of life. And so, that's a little bit high level of what we do as an organization, but why we do it, and again, how we do that each and every day is just through the power of people. We have some amazing volunteers and staff that help carry out that mission and vision for us, and we do that in a really diverse way with the number of programs, the depth and the breadth, as well as the people that we serve. So,
yeah, I mean, you really do. You really do span the age category from like small children at the very beginning to, I know there's senior programming too, because I've met the senior programming director and the amazing programs that are created for our seniors, and the community of our seniors coming and utilizing the Y. Like, they use the Y all the time. So, I mean, the Y is really this 8 to 80, as I like to say, resource or third space where the community can find what they need, whether it's community itself or resources to be more healthy.
You're absolutely right, and it's so funny you say 8 to 80, right? And sometimes in the Y world we use infants to infinity, or young to those young at heart to describe that spectrum. But you're right, everything that we do, and I think you're hitting on a key point is it's really about it's missing today, and that's connection to others, belonging, right? Helping to foster achievement. And so the Y and its programs are really that platform for us to achieve those deeper meanings with it. Because boy, oh boy, when we get connected, how so much stronger is our community as a result of it.
So, Bret, with the commitment to help the community becoming more healthier, what do you think? Like, you worked in so many places and so many Ys actually all over Wisconsin. So, what do you think is the USP of this Fox Cities region YMCA, or the network of YMCA in this region?
Well, I will tell you that because of the richness of resources and partners, willing partners, what makes it unique is our ability to really treat the individual from a holistic perspective. We know that we are very good at helping people get up and move, and at primary and helping in terms of prevention of chronic illness. But when we align ourselves with partners, we can really help in that mental as well as spiritual component, whatever those things mean to them. And that's really kind of our call to action, is how do we help support the individuals in all 3 of those areas, because you have to have equal, health in all of those particular areas. And so what makes us unique compared to those other Ys I have is just the partnerships and the collaborations and the willingness of our community to work together in those spaces. And that's the big opportunity before us, right? Is how do we collaborate and share more? And what's the end benefit? Well, people, right? Kids, families, the community thrives as a result.
Of course. And I believe one biggest draw of YMCA, which I realized when I moved states, that, the opportunity to keep your children, and while you can become healthier as a woman, is a big takeaway. Because not many places offer this childcare facility, which absolutely, makes you stand out. So I had a question, like, what all programs you have for youth who are like in 7 or 8 age group categories? Like, are you creating more programs?
That is a wonderful question. And certainly we have a lot of our foundational programs, youth sports, aquatics, camping programs, right? Before and after school enrichment programs are big. But we also identify as our youth start to get into that 9 to 18-year-old, right? They don't necessarily always want to fall into structured activities, right? They like to kind of insert themselves into activities, which is great, but also have that ability to connect with friends. And so that's a challenge of our organization right now as part of our strategic plan, is saying, how do we create those structured yet unstructured opportunities for youth to engage with others and then insert themselves in programs? So we're in the mix of doing that right now. But I would share with you, there's our traditional ways for youth to engage, but we're also exploring new ways, right? We understand that not all youth align with some of those traditional pathways, right? Not everyone is going to be involved in sports and see themselves competing in that. And so we're excited. This last fall, we implemented a new program and a new space, this technology lab that was done in partnership with Plexus, great community partner, to create this tech lab that would help support an esports program.
Wow.
And 2 years prior to this, we had been kind of testing this program, right? It's not a new program. There's many esports programs out there, but it was new to us with that. And most of it started out virtually and then started coming into place-based inside our facilities. But there were barriers. Unless you had the gaming system, you weren't able to participate. And so this new lab allows us to remove all barriers. Even if you're someone that has a disability, we have the equipment that everybody can participate in this experience. And what we're finding is this is a whole group of a demographic of kids that are not associated with any normal groups that they normally would. And now they're coming together, right, around a particular program. But the real piece is now they're interacting, connecting with each other, and we're able to help those, what we now call the new hard skills, right? We're talking about how do we talk with people and conflict resolution as the soft skills. Really, they're really the hard skills nowadays. And so it's programming like that we try to be innovative around. But we also know that there are some great partners in this space that are doing some great work on that. How do we engage with them deeper to say, kids at the Y now have access over here for this programming and vice versa? And what does that do? When we provide greater access, kids have more access to programs and services, their chances for thriving are going to be that much higher. So
it's amazing to hear that the scope is expanding.
Yeah.
You brought up the word barriers.
Yep.
And so what is in place to help those who may have financial barriers?
Yeah.
To help them still utilize these great services of the Y?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest misunderstandings out there is that, is the Y affordable for me? Can I see myself at the Y? And what I would share with you is if you look at it from, say, a fee perspective, really the YMCA is an income-based, or has an income-based pricing model. And that means no matter, depending on what your financial needs are, that membership rate or program fee will be adjusted so that it fits within your household budget, or we'll make accommodations to get you access to our services. And we do that through the generosity of our donors that help support what we call our Membership for All program. So that means regardless of your financial background, right, you have that ability and access to the Y's, what we call transformational programs and services. And so that is a big, big program. And so the great thing about that is if you donate $1 to the Y, that $1 is going directly back to somebody in our community. So, it's directly impacted. It's not being used to support any other areas of our operations because of the way that our, so to speak, business model works. So we are very proud of the fact that when it make a contribution to the Y, it's going directly to the people that need it the most.
How incredible. So what are the signature events which is coming up? Like we are already on the brink of spring and summer, so it's a busy, busy time for Y.
Oh, it is. I mean, and we just kicked off the beginning of the year, right? Everyone is bound to determine, right? This is the year that I'm going to get in shape and transform my body, right? So we have that influx of folks that come into our facilities. So our programs are very busy across the board. But when we look at our events, we have a number of events that we offer at our various branches. And so we have one tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And so our Wise Service Club, which is made up of volunteers that will be doing a pancake breakfast at our Appleton Y. So anybody and everyone is welcome to participate in that. We'll have our National Day of Prayer breakfast coming up here in April, which is how we help to engage the various faith community around here and just bring together around how do we pray and support our community, pray for our community, right? We'll always have our annual meeting in April, but we have in the fall we have our Freaky 5K run. The Turkey Trot is where we participate and help support that event, and so we just have a plethora of events, and then our branches like to do family events as well, so open to the community.
Yes,
and we've had Theta Care as a great partner in that space to help provide those just free community events. So,
all right. Do they do those, because I live in a different city, do they do those overnight family things here in the Fox Cities?
The lock-ins?
Yes.
Oh boy, you're bringing up some great programs that we run in the past. No, we don't do any lock-ins anymore with that. But it's funny how programming in the Y is pretty cyclical. And so some things that we did back 50s, 60s, kind of come back around like, okay, we need to do the post-prom lock-ins, right? Stuff like that. But we do have, Timber, is up at our camp, Nanabosho. We have a family camp, and that's an opportunity for 15 families to experience the beautiful outdoors and get connected with other families and be supported in nature and environment with it. So that is a really nice overnight opportunity that we have that comes up during the summer.
That does sound really nice.
Yeah. And I probably say we probably do so much more than I even realize, and my staff are probably thinking, "Oh my God, he forgot to say this. He forgot to say this."
Oh,
So,
they're gonna let you know.
Oh, they will. That's why I love them.
All right, Bret, can you please share a story with the Appleton Engaged listeners that'll help explain the impact of the Y?
Sure. We have a lot of stories, and I think about one that is more of a tragic story here as of late, just before Christmas. And we have a child care center here at our downtown Appleton branch. But here we had two individual families where one of the parents had passed away, one through health issues and the other through taking their own life. And both, as you can imagine, when there is, we have family members that are battling whatever it is, mentally, physically, emotionally, what have you. How does that translate onto the child, right? And sometimes, as we see as that behavior, there's more that's happening in the household. And so, for us, it was an opportunity for us to just surround that family with love and support as they work through that tragedy. And that's what the Y is all about, is so much about understanding the needs of the community responding. But what is community? It's really about one person at a time. And so when we see that, it's our chance to rise up. And so we have that, but we also see other neat stories where we have, two seniors that both lost their spouses, right? They're widowed, working out at one of our facilities, and slowly make introductions to each other, and over time start walking on the track together.
Oh.
And as they start to re-engage, looked at as an opportunity to get remarried. And so they meet at the Y because they get reconnected, right?
Wow.
And so we see stories like that. There's certainly our Live Strong program, which works with cancer survivors. And you talk about just the power to be able for those cancer survivors to support each other, learn from each other, lift each other up, but also that opportunity to reclaim their health while they're going through recovery is pretty powerful. And so we see stories like that each and every day. I'm also reminded, as we get closer to the spring, we have our association-wide track meet. For me, last year was my first time to experience that. That was held over in Menasha. at the football field and track stadium there. And all of our 5 branches all sponsored this track team of youth. And what's amazing is to see is that it starts as young as 4 and 5-year-olds. So you can imagine them trying to, so to speak, run a 100-yard race, right? It's kind of like herding cats. So you see the fun interaction with that, and you see parents cheering them on, and you see that family strengthening opportunity. It just pulls at your heart. But then more importantly, as we see with some of the older kids, we have a child that had a part of their leg that was amputated and using that prosthetic, and then running and competing along with other children. That's the opportunities that we look to provide, is that everyone has access, and we look to lift them all up. So
What I'm hearing is an impact beyond health. It's everything. It's fostering community connections, making friendships, increasing your emotional health. I mean, the impact is incredible.
yeah, thank you for that, Annie. Yeah, you said it much more eloquently than I did.
She's known to do that. All right. Bret, is there anything the community can do to be helpful to the Y?
Sure. Well, we just already feel pretty blessed by the outpouring of success, and we look at where we started out in our infancy as an organization to where we are today is all because of the support of the community. But I would say there's, certainly our ability to reach more is also predicated on the ability of our community to continue to support us financially. So we just launched our annual campaign, and that annual campaign each and every year goes to help fund that fund of providing scholarships or financial assistance, right, to those that need it, to remove that financial burden. So, we call upon the community by doing that. You're helping to lift up your neighbor, and that's the beauty of it is no one who comes to the Y knows who's receiving assistance or not, right? Because we're all in this together type of stuff. So that is certainly one way to help. Volunteerism is another big area where we could use help, and we've seen that as trending, right? The number of folks that are actively engaged in their community through volunteerism. And so whether it's with us or just with any organization, boy, just to give of your time and talents would mean a lot. And it doesn't have to be scary, right? It could be coming in and reading a book to a child, or helping to ref a basketball game, or teaching a new skill. But anything on that end is very supported. But then also, if individuals are looking for career opportunities, and meaningful, right? Talk about impact. If you want to make an impact in someone's life, we have many pathways for you at the Y, for you to tap into your passions and share those passions with others.
There's definitely some people I've met who I was shocked. They were like, I've been teaching a class at the Y for the last 20 to 30 years for yoga or whatever the class is. And I'm just like, that says so much about an organization when a person has that longevity of commitment to it.
Yeah, we have some folks that have worked for us for 35, 37 years plus, part of our organization. And so, boy, we just can't imagine the Y without them, because they've been such a big part of our success. But, I'm always energized when I hear some of our staff share how some of their members have told them that if it wasn't for their class, or if it wasn't for the Y, they probably wouldn't be here today, and how it saved their life. And boy, oh boy, what a gift, to hear that type of impact. And so I think that's the opportunity for anybody that would like to engage with us, is to be part of that and experience that.
Who can the people contact if they want to learn more?
Oh, there's a number of ways. Certainly through our website is a great opportunity. Any of our Facebook pages, there we're on all our social media, LinkedIn, from that. And as far as I know, I might be one of the only Brets in the organization. So they can always reach out to me if they want, and it'll probably get directed to me. But yeah, you call the Y and we'll get you connected to any resource that you need assistance with. So
okay. Thank you. Last question.
Yeah.
Is there anything we didn't ask that at this time you would like to share more information about?
Yeah, I want to refer back to something that we shared a little bit earlier, and that's our strategic plan. And, there's something to be said about strategic plans, but I guess what we're real excited about around this process is we asked all of our members, we asked all of our non-members and community at large. We held community leader stakeholder forums and even asked our staff, our frontline staff, saying, when you look at our community, and we kind of tested 35 broad community issues, which ones did they see as the highest need? And to hear their feedback on that was pretty powerful and probably not too much of a surprise to any of the listeners that, right, some of the big ones is, workforce there and housing, right? Childcare being a big one. But we're also hearing, stuff about social isolation and loneliness as a big component, access to healthcare, and the ability to address some of the chronic conditions that are plaguing our community, like diabetes or heart disease from that perspective. The need for safe places for youth and for families is hearing some of these rising needs, addressing potential negative youth behaviors. And so, it was just powerful to receive that information. But what it's lent it, right, as I shared a little bit earlier about the desired impact the community has of us, but how are we going to respond? And so as we look to the next 3+ years, it's about how we double down on youth development. How do we not only provide more access to childcare, not only from, so to speak, the birth to 5, but also before and after school, but also addressing kind of what we talked a little bit about earlier, which is, we see this opportunity here of that 9 to 18-year-old, and how do we engage with them differently with that? And it's also, all the literature, all the research shows that if you really want to positively impact the health of an individual and resulting in the community, right, you got to get further upstream, right? And now all of that research is pointing to 2 and 3 and 4-year-olds, right? And that's all true. And we have some great resources out there, other youth serving organizations, the school districts, right, that we partner with, and we're all working on the youth. But where there's the gap area that we're learning is family strengthening, and that because of the way that the world is working, and the use of electronics or how electronics are being used and parenting skills is impacting the environment of the child, right? And so how might we help to support and strengthening families around that? So that's a big thing that we're leaning into as we go forward. But then we talk about the second arm, which is around health and well-being, and this need for lifestyle medicine and a holistic approach to spirit, mind, and body with that. And Timber, you had mentioned earlier too, we see it, you see a growing demographic in our communities around seniors. And how do we get them connected, right? And not just from physical activity and connection, but how do we work with them to help them re-engage in the community in different ways? So we see opportunity. And that third area that we really heard is, how do we look at our organizational capacity to support those initiatives? And so within all of that, we are leading with what we call our embedded themes, that everything that we do will always be looking to do it in collaboration and partnership first, which I think is important, right? Because there's a finite amount of resources out there. And so how do we work better together to utilize those services? So collaboration is a big component of our work going forward. And it has been, not to say it hasn't been up to this point, but it's certainly an embedded theme that we're leading into. Belonging, diversity as and inclusion are those big other embedded themes, along with achievement. Our values is what we heard and heard from our community, and how we can use those as strategic advantages to help support our community. So we're excited about, what the next, 3+ years of that strategic plan, and it's probably more of a cultural component about how we engage. But we really see an opportunity for our facilities to be a hub, and that's how they've come to be known. But how do we be more intentional around how we bring together and resources together to help support people? And so that would be something that we are excited to share with your listeners.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At this time, which is my favorite time of the show, it's shout out time, Bret. Who would you like to shout out?
Well, certainly our staff. The first and foremost, their staff. The work that they do, and they do it with such passion and rigor, and they do it tirelessly. I mean, I'm blown away, and just to get to see them in action each every day. So certainly a shout out. I would give a shout out to our volunteers. We're a volunteer led organization, and so essentially the Y is being run by people right here in this community, right? That are saying, here are the needs. How does this organization help support them? And so our volunteers are just a tremendous group of individuals that really want to see the betterment of our community. So shout out to them. Certainly a shout out to all of our partners. As I said earlier, 1 out of 4 individuals we serve just through our direct programs and services through the Greater Fox Valley. But when you add in that we have about probably close to 300 different partnerships, that it just extends the reach even further. And so our work would not be possible without them, and working alongside of them. And certainly a shout out to all of our members in the community, because again, any Y is a reflection of its community, right? And then certainly we're very blessed with how we are thriving, and we like to think that's a reflection of how our community is thriving.
Facts.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bret. And at this time, we're going to start wrapping up this episode. Appleton Engaged listeners, I just want to say thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for giving us your minds and ears and making time to listen to another amazing resource in our community, the impact that they're having in our community, and the amazing resources they're providing for all of us. Once again, we are a work in progress. Help us become the best podcast we can possibly become. How can you do that? Well, first, you can reach out to us and let us know how to improve the show, or you can also offer to be a guest on Appleton Engaged or suggest a guest for Appleton Engaged. How do you do that? You do that by emailing us at diversity@appleton.org. Once again, that is diversity@appleton.org. Now, my other request is help us get in front of more eyes and ears. Analytics is that secret word. So right now, while you're listening to this podcast, just take a moment and hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, and then if you've got a few more moments, fill out a review. Let us know how we're doing. These things improve our analytics, and better analytics help spread the word of this amazing resource called Appleton Engaged to more community members.
Thank you so much, Bret, for being on our podcast. We are incredibly grateful to have you with us, and thank you for your passion and commitment to making our, Fox Cities community healthier, vibrant, and emotionally strong.
Well, thank you both, and a big shout out to you both as well, right, for the work that you do that helps make our community one of the best communities to live in, right?
Facts.
So, yep.
Thank you, everyone. Do go to Y and check out their spring and summer programming, and I'm sure you'll find something to do for yourself. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay engaged.